So to a degree, I'm kind of glad I did the stream I did last night because Karen Hovind and the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland decided to delete the 17.5 minute video that they did yesterday. So yeah, that's now archived only on my channel with my commentary, which means Kent is going to go through all those psalm parts once again when he gets done whacking holy Kool-Aid, because apparently, according to the intro of this, he says it's going to be all 3 days. So he's going to spend the next 3 days obsessing over holy Kool-Aid because he talks about Noah's Ark. Because this is what Kent Hovind spends his life doing. This is all he does. It'd be funny if it wasn't so pathetic. But enough preamble. We're going to make this pretty quick. Right to the get-go. Sorry, I saw a message on my phone. Just turned out it was Discord, so nothing of immediate value. But you never know. We're gonna toggle some things here, click some buttons, make it do something. Is it doing? It's doing things. Cool. Okay. So we're gonna go on and hit this. It's this holy Kool-Aid video. I had an idea, and I don't know if I really want to undertake this because it will take a long time to record. But I actually want to read his entire dissertation doing the Hovind voice. The whole thing. I mean, I don't want to, but I think that would be a very funny idea. To just do the whole thing Hovind voice. Would y'all want that? Would you want me to subject myself to such torture? Because I'll do it. I mean, maybe I'll come up with a thing where for every, dollar I'm donated, I say X amount of words or something, make a little fun out of it, make a game out of it. And I'll slowly get the whole thing compiled with enough donations. That would be fun. And would stick it to Kent, and I'm literally going to be making money off of his content, like I don't already. But I add my own stuff, so it's transformative and falls under fair use. And also, I'm far more entertaining than Kent Hovind is. Where's my DVD seminar series that I sell? Oh, right. I'm an honest person who doesn't try to grift people for money. Anyway, I'm stalling the inevitable. Let's get to it. This is 37 minutes of Hovind, so we're going to be here a while. Less time if I shut up, but, let's do it.
Well, good evening, folks. Kent Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama, and Genesis Baptist Church. We are, it's May 21st, 2025. Tonight, Whack an Atheist. Somebody gave me a whack shirt with my own picture on there. See that? How do they do that? Get a picture.
Yeah, it's creepy, Kent. And of course you wouldn't know how they do that because you're a complete fucking idiot.
I guess. Okay. Anyway, thank you. I love it. Whack an Atheist shirt. Like every Wednesday night, we like to whack one. We're going to have to whack this guy.
It seems like you like to whack one a lot more often than every Wednesday night, Hovind.
3 days in a row. Looks like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We've got a bunch of people coming this weekend. So we'll try to get time to work on it. Anyway, let's see. We are on Facebook. A bunch of people there. On Rumble. A good place to get our videos. On, Twitter or X.
I'm really tired of people calling it Twitter. And I know everybody knows what you're talking about, but Twitter is long dead. It's become X. The corpse of what was once Twitter, for what good it actually had, long ago got Weekend at Bernie's. If you can, turn that into make that into a verb structure, I don't know. I can't English today, all right? I'm tired. I'm always tired. Anyway, they pulled the Weekend at Bernie's with it, and that's what X is. At this stage, it's a complete cesspool that I only have an account on to preserve my name on there. It's funny here that he at least acknowledges like Twitter or X, as in that he knows now that they're the same thing. But like, why call it Twitter? That's no longer its branding for anything except some legalese, because technically it still has to have that. It's cheaper to just leave it in. That's it. Just let it be X and move on. Anyway.
On Instagram, on our TikTok, and our app, KentHovind.tv. Let's see, there's Instagram. Just click one of those buttons and join. Why don't you sign up for all of them? When they shut us off on one, it's free, isn't it? For all of them? Yeah, all free. Go ahead. Here we are, May 21st. Holy Koolaid, he calls himself. Says the Noah's Ark.
And what is the 10th Whack-A-Hovind I actually did? Was it my 10th video once I started doing this type of content? Is it videos that are specifically called Whack-A-Hovind? Because now it kind of doesn't have any meaning. All my projects have kind of merged into one thing. You notice everything's now just the Yamato live banner. Except the stuff that isn't live, which is nothing now. Watch Blu-ray number 7. No. I'd release all my content on HD DVD just because I would make sure they republish just for me. Which is technically, totally doable, but yeah, no one's gonna retool for that. Anyway,
Ark story is not possible. Holy, you're an idiot. I'll debate you anytime. Call 855 Big Dino extension 4. Thomas is his name. Book him, Joseph. Okay, take him on anytime. Okay, this July 6th,
debate me, bro. Debate me, Hovind.
we're going up to the Kentucky Noah's Ark, Ken Ham's Noah's Ark, and atheist rally up there. Should we tell them about the call your wife got this morning, Joseph?
So Seth has been keeping me informed on the very haphazard plans we've got to finally make it to the Ark encounter when this happens, because everything's been a wrench in the works. And all I can think is because he brought up one day that I have to go because this may be the only chance I'll ever have to actually physically meet Kent Hovind, and I might as well take that opportunity. And all I can think of is freaking like 8 Mile. If you had one shot to diss Kent Hovind to his face, would you take it? I don't know why it just sticks in my head like that. Get the music start playing, and then I start trying to come up with lyrics related to it. I don't know. I mean, AJ would do that infinitely better. He's got skill for that kind of stuff. I'm a rock guy myself, so. But that's what comes to mind now every time he mentions going to the Ark thing. It's like, it's a non-zero chance, Kent, that I will be there. It'll be interesting. Oh, dude, what if I was to get a thrifted King James Bible and get him to sign it? Just for the sake of it. That would be awesome. Make it even more cursed. I don't care who you are. I actually enjoy having autographs. I really do. It's something fun.
Motorcycle gang or club called and said, would you like us to come up there and join you at the Ark for bodyguards for security? I don't need a bodyguard. Nobody wants my body, but no.
Oh, Kent, you can say that again. Both in the sense of, yeah, no one wants to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. No one wants to hurt you. Honestly, if the heat got to you and there started to be a problem, most of us would probably rush over and simply out of human nature, being good people, do what we could to assist or otherwise figure out what the hell's happening. Hold man's keeling over. Yeah, you've got nothing to worry about, bro. And I'm glad you at least, even jokingly acknowledge that. Also, I kind of doubt this story at all happened, but, doesn't fucking matter either way. It's irrelevant crap. By the way, if you're into irrelevant crap, click the subscribe button down below. That's all you'll get here. Yeah. Oh, did I say irrelevant? I meant irreverent. Same difference. Let's continue.
Plus, I can handle myself. I know karate, judo, taekwondo, and 4 more Japanese words. I can handle them. Okay.
Taekwondo is Korean, you fucking ignoramus.
Anyway, let's see. So anyway, if you want to come up there July 6th, please do. It's in between Cincinnati and Lexington and Louisville, right there. Okay, our Dinosaur Adventureland is 140 acres. It is a blast. We have a wonderful time here. We're finishing Noah's Ark. Please come down and help us get that Ark built. And be sure to go back to February 1st on all my channels and look for the open letter to Donald Trump. And contact all the congressmen, senators. They got.
Speaking of Allie here, getting set up for a wedding. Anyone want to help me set up for my wedding by, sending someone my way? Yamato's lonely. So very lonely. Oh man. But yeah, I don't know. I just had to do some self-deprecating humor in there. Actually, you could meet him anytime you want to go to the ale, but I don't think you want to. Yeah, and I have no reason to go that far. You know good and well I would not make it outside of Huntsville. The moment we reached Decatur, Alabama, that's it. Game over. You're passing United Launch Alliance construction facilities. Um, Head on down to Huntsville. I ain't taking the turn south to go to fucking Lenox, Alabama. No, man. And I'm a little bummed that you can't get tours at the United Launch Alliance manufacturing facility down there. I really would have loved to have seen one, especially since Delta 4s were constructed there. But it is what it is. I got my photo in front of the sign. It's cool. We'll move on.
I now have a Trump has a pardon czar, a lady who was in prison 21 years or 22 years unjustly. She's going
Press X'd it out.
look over cases. Well, please look over mine. I want you to undo what they did to me, restore everything. Hey,
Really, Kent? Can they magically give you back 9 years of your life? I don't think so.
back what they owe. I could buy the whole state of Alabama, couldn't I? Where would I put it, though? It's fine right where it is, I guess. Okay. So join our 777 Club. Help us to open for free. If you'd like to do that, call 855-BIG-DINO, extension 1. We're on drdino.com, 9 years. Okay. Wednesday night.
We're on drdino.com, 9 years. Only 9 years? Seem to have had that website since the mid to late 90s.
Whack an atheist. We love this game. Tonight, Holy Koolaid. Sticks his head up. We're going to whack him back down sweetly in Christian love, okay? Like a whack-a-mole game. Adults love it. I love it. Let's see. Okay, so many atheists, so little time. The winner tonight, Holy Koolaid. Everything wrong with Noah's Ark in 10 minutes. Why?
If you play it on 2X, you can speed run it. Everything wrong in 5 minutes.
Scientists laugh.
I wonder how YouTube analytics work when people put the video on higher speed. Does it still count as the retention over the span of time? Like, how does it count the actual retention? How long you're actually on the video, how long it plays for, or how much of it plays? If 12 seconds of the normal video plays, but it's at double speed, is that still 12 seconds, even though it only played over the course of 6 seconds? I really wonder that kind of stuff.
Who gets to decide who's a scientist? Oh, he decides. And if you don't believe the Bible, then you're a scientist. But if you do believe the Bible, you're not a scientist.
No, Kent. There's plenty of scientists who believe elements of the Bible and would certainly classify themselves as Christians and meet the criteria by most other people's definition. But they're also scientists because they actually like science, unlike you. They either compartmentalize their faith or otherwise have acknowledged where there are flaws with a literal interpretation of the Bible and have gone far more metaphorical with it, which is how religions tend to die. But that's still going to be a good long while. Your interpretation, however, was thrown out the window centuries ago by very, very skilled people who figured out way early on some of this shit ain't right. But, you got to have a literal interpretation of everything, except when it says the earth is flat. Then you're like, nope, it says it's round.
Is that how it goes, Holy?
Okay. And all those times where you have said something is metaphor, even though you said the whole Bible is literal. So you contradict yourself in a lot of your little sermons.
Okay. Who decides who gets the coveted title scientist in your little brain? If a person believes the Bible is true, is he no longer a scientist? A large percentage of people with degrees in the sciences do believe the Bible is true and Noah's flood really happened.
No. A large percentage of people might believe the Bible is true insofar as key elements of the concept of a God and the Jesus sacrifice and the sin concepts. That's kind of it. The number who actually believe in the flood and Adam and Eve and especially 6,000 years, that is a far smaller group. Not a large percentage by any means. We're talking fractions of a percent, most certainly, since most all science, and by extension, most all of reality, show that the stories in the book are a total load. Just like what you've got in your pants anytime you talk to R and Ra.
In case you hear, atheists accuse me of gish galloping.
Oh, here he's gonna fillet Dwayne Gish in an irrelevant thing. It doesn't matter a damn thing about Dwayne Gish. He fucking rambled on like a moron. We watched one of his things. Watched one of his debates. We saw the tactic full force. It's standard for creationists. I'm gonna bring up this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 one topic at a time.
Here's where that phrase comes from. I knew Dwayne Gish and Henry Morris. They started the Institute for Creation Research. Dr. Gish earned a BS degree in chemistry from UCLA and a PhD in biochemistry from UCL Berkeley. He spent 18 years in the biochemical research, including 3 years at Cornell University Medical College.
Should have spent 18 years in the biochemical testing chamber, right? Right.
4 years.
Hell, he looks like he did. Ooh, that was mean. I'm feeling spicy today.
At Virus Laboratory, UC Berkeley, 11 years with the Upjohn Company. Dr. Gish participated in 300 formal debates against evolution.
No, Zumi, we cannot start over. We're not going backwards, only forwards.
Evolutionists. During his life, he became known as Creationist Bulldog due to his effectiveness in the...
Yes, Mary Schweitzer. Obsessed with pronouncing these things properly as I can. Yeah, she should definitely sue with the way creationists misrepresent her work.
These debates, and he slaughtered them. They'd make a point, he would tear it apart. The Gish Gallop is a rhetorical technique in which a person in a debate attempts to overwhelm an opponent by presenting an excessive number of arguments without regard to their accuracy or strength, with a rapidity that makes it impossible for the opponent to address them in the time available.
Yeah, Kent. Something every creationist does.
During a typical Gish Gallop, the galloper confronts an opponent with a rapid series of specious arguments, half-truths, misrepresentations, and outright lies, making it impossible for the opponent to refute all of them within the format of the debate. Each point raised by the Gish galloper takes considerably longer to refute than to assert.
Well, I mean, that's true of every aspect of bullshittery.
The technique wastes an opponent's time, and they may cast doubt on the opponent's debating ability for an audience unfamiliar with the technique, especially if no independent fact-checking is involved, or if the audience has limited knowledge of the topic. Welcome to Holy Koolaid, he said. I'm enthusiastic about science. We shall see, Thomas. And creating a...
Yes, Kent, because you're the arbiter of what is and isn't science. Who gets to decide what's science? Kent Hovind does.
A technologically advanced world worth living in. I think it's been worth living in for quite a while. Anyway.
Okay, then, Kent. You yourself said what you should do if, that's the case. So, I don't know, Kent. You might want to take your own advice there. Not referring to what advice, just saying. You had a solution to that problem. Said it yourself.
I was raised a missionary kid, but no longer believe in the supernatural. I grew up in a former Soviet Muslim country right after the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Whoa, is that true, or or did he get some false information or something? Because I had no clue. That's fucking awesome.
Thomas Westbrook is his name. He's 35, 36 years old now. Is the creator of a YouTube channel, Holy Koolaid, which attempts to address some of the misconceptions people have about atheism and explains the science behind seemingly supernatural occurrences. In college, Thomas's roommate introduced him to TED Talks. What is that one, brother?
I fucking hate TED Talks, for the record. Pompous bullshit. I mean, they'll have anybody up there who halfway, it's like the Joe Rogan of science without being complete conspiracy garbage, but they'll just have who the fuck ever talk, and half the time they don't know ass about jack. And these are professionals, but they're talking about shit that doesn't matter. You're just this is to what they do. So I don't know. It's some pompous shit, and I've always hated TED Talks since they became kind of the rage on the internet about 10 years ago.
Okay. and he started reading science books and watching documentaries out of curiosity. He was also intrigued by atheist videos. After his mission trip, he started watching more atheist content and began to consider the internal consistency of the Bible. As a child, he'd been taught that there were no contradictions. Thomas began to read it cover to cover and took notes. After watching Bill Nye debate creationist Ken Ham, Thomas realized that scientists were following evidence and was no longer a Christian.
Yay.
So there's Thomas's testimony off his website. No longer a Christian.
That's not his website. That's a damn YouTuber wiki, you moron. Anyone can write pretty much whatever about anybody.
The 13 more contradictions in the Bible. Holy Koolaid. Wow. Atheists, the prophecy failed again. 12 contradictions in the Bible. Nothing fails like Bible history.
I love the Nothing Fails Like Bible History series. That was a fun one.
These are some of the videos he's done. Let's see. Now he's using his God-given talents and energy to turn people away from believing God's word. The Bible said in 2 Peter chapter 3, knowing this first, there shall...
Wah, wah, wah. Magic book bullshit says people won't believe magic book bullshit. How many times you gotta hear it? You stupid ass fucking prick.
I'll come in the last days, scoffer, walking after their own lusts. I would bet $5 he turned away from the Bible, and part of the reason he stayed away is there's some sin in there someplace. Yeah, we shall see. Okay. And saying, where's the promise of his coming? Since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation. For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of God the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. They don't understand what that creation was like. We cover that on video number 2 of my series, which you can get on Dr. Dino.
God damn it, I was muted. Yeah, we understand it very well. This silly assertion that we don't know these things. It's like we've been exposed to all of it, Kent. Half these people have read it all. These believers oftentimes have read through the whole damn book. They understand it. They see why it's stupid because they understand it. Which I know you say, oh, well, I see evolution's stupid because I understand it. And it's like, no, you don't. You definitely don't understand it because of how grossly you misrepresent remotely any aspect of it. Meanwhile, even my barely knows the Bible ass can probably give accurate descriptions of many aspects of it that I wholeheartedly reject, thus showing that I understand it, but I still have rejected the veracity of it.
Whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. They're ignorant of the flood. And Holy Koolaid is really ignorant of the flood. We'll see in a minute.
Hey, can your God stand up to an atomic bomb asking for a friend? Because if a flood's his big way of taking care of everything, I mean, we can do a lot better. Just saying.
And they're ignorant of the coming judgment of God. So they're ignorant of the creation, the flood, and the coming judgment.
And yet we've all heard you talk about it 100 times, and we've all known about it before, some of us before you were ever a thing in the global scene. So we're not ignorant of it. You dumbass. We know what the bullshit says. That's how we know it's bullshit. Easy.
Thomas has been duped by the atheists he followed and has become a typical scoffer who is totally ignorant of the flood. God is laughing at Holy Koolaid for his ignorant objections to the flood and Noah's Ark story. Let's slow down his gish gallop because he throws out point after point after point. You know, we're going to take them one at a time if it takes us 400 years. Thomas, one at a time. That's why I say when my debates, don't I, Joseph? I'll debate anybody. One topic at a time. That way they can't gish gallop. And no interrupting and equal time for each side. I'll take on all you atheists at the same time. I'm not afraid of any of you, okay? Let's look at his problems with.
Okay, Kent, it's been over 9 months since you told Sergio to get in contact with me. I still haven't received any communications from any valid Dinosaur Adventureland emails or anything of the sort. Nothing even like someone pretending to be you trying to get in touch with me. If you're not scared, come, get in contact. You have your guys set something up. I'm waiting. This is if you want to do it. I don't give a fuck one way or the other. So get to it, old man.
The flood story and try to teach him a few things. Okay, here, let's go to Holy Koolaid right here. And come over here and push a button or do something. There we go. There he is. Thomas, take it away.
The story of Noah's Ark single-handedly destroys the credibility of the entire Bible, and I'm going to show you how.
It's the credibility of the whole Bible. Just that's pretty lousy logic, isn't it? I mean, if there's one.
It's a statement, Kent, and you're about to. Are you seriously about to say what you're going to say? Are you really going to do that, Kent? Let's let him do it.
Nothing wrong with your car. Does that mean nothing else works on your car? Huh? Is that your logic here? You think there's something wrong with one story in the Bible, therefore the whole Bible's bad.
Kent, aren't you the same person who says that even one problem in evolution, one nonconformity, the polystrate trees, the footprints with dinosaurs, the this, that, the other, the bent rock, the clams on mountaintops, all this stuff, which is still explained anyway. But your claim is that even if it, in your world where all these things are facts and what you're presenting actually says what you think it says, you say that automatically destroys evolution. Yet simultaneously, when the same logic is used in just a quick intro quip, mind you, not as a point, just as an attention getter when someone first clicks the video, you're trying to say that it doesn't apply then. Talk about having your cake and eating it too, Kent. Pick a side, motherfucker. Get in the lane, stay in your fucking lane, commit to either, yes, something can be false, but it doesn't destroy the entire thing, or yes, a falsehood would destroy the whole thing because you want to be an absolutionist on this, or realize that it is contextual. But when everything rests on this chain of events, because the Bible is a very linear product, it's very much a this to this to this to this to this. It's not a whole lot of stuff going on at once. So when you break the chain like that, it kind of throws everything for a loop. Even if you had a valid this makes no sense in evolutionary science, it wouldn't tear apart everything else. It would be very odd, but it'd eventually be figured out. And if that did cause us to rethink things, then congratulations, we just got more accurate information on stuff. But it doesn't magically point to your story being true. And given that this is a key facet of your story, and from you creationists, the second biggest thing beyond the creation story in and of itself, really wrecks your entire idea. A lot of the stuff y'all talk about is based on the flood. And if the flood ain't there, all your other stuff breaks apart.
So if one thing in your house doesn't work, you should burn the whole house down. It's all no good. Huh? Got one pothole on one of your streets in your city, you better destroy the whole city. The whole system is no good.
Well, I mean, for Memphis, yeah.
This is really poor logic, Thomas. Okay, but let's go on here. Let's see what's he got here. I'm going to show you. Here we go.
Realizing that Noah's Ark didn't literally happen is something that I figured out entirely too late in life.
Wait. You realized it didn't happen. No. You came to.
Good Lord, you can't go through exposition without commenting, Kent. Can you just let it play a little bit. Oh, but Chris, you don't let Hovind play without commenting. I do a lot. And when I do interject during his mindless ramblings, it's on the sake of those mindless ramblings. Because they're isolated from the bigger picture, the bigger product of what he's going for. And even this interruption right here, notice that my focus was the interruption itself, addressing his interruption, not whatever he's about to say that he's only gotten a few words out of. That's the part a lot of the critical morons who find these streams and decide that their comments from the peanut gallery are worth it seem to not understand is the nuance of what's going on. Seems to be a universal trait with these kinds of idiots. Let's continue.
Believe it didn't happen. You can't realize it didn't happen. You don't know. I mean, this is 4,300 years ago. How do you know it didn't happen? How can you possibly know such a thing? So don't get caught up with his dogmatic presentation. We know it didn't happen. Like Mr. Nelson, who calls him
Exactly, fungus. And oh, look, here he goes. He's bringing up Mr. Nelson again. You know, have Mr. Anderson and Aaron Ra ever talked before? Because that'd be pretty funny. Mr. Nelson with Mr. Anderson.
himself Aaron Ra, the sun god. We know the Earth is billions of years old. You don't know any such thing. You can't possibly know any such thing like that. But listen,
You don't know anything, Kent.
go here.
And it's because, like many of you, I was raised in the church. And from the time I was in preschool, biblical literalism was hammered into me. I remember seeing these idyllic images of animals neatly lining up to board a wooden boat. From Sunday school stories to my first children's picture Bible, this tale was ingrained in me like it was fact. Now,
Is it possible, Thomas, that it really is fact? Or you've come to believe something different, haven't you? Okay.
I just covered in part 1 the various lines of evidence that prove that there was no global flood, but in this video, I'm going to show you why the story of Noah's Ark itself, as told in Genesis, is absolutely impossible.
Yes, Deviant. Good reminder to the point where if he lets the opposition say too much, his own audience listening might actually understand what is being said and might begin to doubt the bullshit they've been fed their entire lives. And Hovind can't have that, otherwise he has no money coming in.
Let's dive in, shall we? First off,
If no one believes in a young Earth, Kent Hovind will have to get a wheel job, because he never paid into retirement. Boo-hoo.
you've ever had an aquarium, you know that marine ecosystems are fragile. You change the
Wait. You have an aquarium, so you know that marine environments are fragile. I think
No. I've seen Anderson debate Kent. That's some of my favorite stuff ever. No, I was meaning Anderson and Aaron Ra talking together. That's what I said. Mr. Anderson, Mr. Nelson. Yeah, all of y'all missed that. The shows here, like, believe Kent and Aaron have debated. Yeah, the video debate thing. Mr. Anderson is busy being an actual lawyer, so that's his whole thing. He pops into his Discord from time to time and says, "Yeah, he's still alive. He's actually just doing lawyer things. So, he just hadn't had time for us, which is fine. I'd rather him be doing his actual job than fucking around with clowns like Hovind. Hopefully he'll get a small break and we'll be able to enjoy some more Mr. Anderson.
there's an awfully big couple of oceans on this planet, if I'm not mistaken. I've flown over, I think, not the Arctic, but I've flown over the rest of them. They're pretty big. You say they're fragile? I think a whole lot of fish survive out there just fine, don't they? Billy, you like fishing. You've been out fishing in the ocean at all? Oh, yeah. So you're starting with an assumption that marine environments are fragile.
No, Kent, they are. Marine ecosystems are quite fragile. This is well documented. This is understood, and especially for people who have aquariums, especially if you happen to deal with tropical fish, your saltwater fish and the like. Oh yeah, those babies will go downhill real quick. I had a neighbor lost a bunch of his fish due to a power outage. Fucking sucked. He had beautiful lionfish and stuff. Gone. I don't even want to know how much he spent on those fish and just taking care of them. It sucked. course, you don't see where he's going, which is a very big problem for your flood story, in that if all the species exist then as they do now, you have the problem of brackish water. That your fresh water is not going to do well in it, nor will your salt water. All the water mixing is going to fuck everything up because they're evolved, whether you like it or not, for a certain salinity. But of course, that's fine. The idea was for God to kill everything. But oh wait, it was only the stuff that was supposed to have air in its lungs. So it wouldn't have been the fish, but still, fish would have died in mass anyway. Just, it doesn't work, Kent.
Okay. Let him keep blabbering. I'm talking here. Go ahead.
Temperature, pH, or salt levels, even just a little bit, and everything starts sleeping with the fish.
Wait. Are you telling me you don't believe the oceans today have any changes in temperature or pH or salinity? Happens all the time.
Areas are generally pretty stable, and shifts are well within ranges, or at least they were until the climate started going to hell. The creatures had developed to well handle shifts in those areas. But massive shifts caused by the entire freaking planet being flooded, that's going to be a bit of a different problem. The oceans don't behave the way you think they do, buddy.
And the fish seem to still be, there's still fish out there, aren't there? Can somebody Google that? Are there still fish in the ocean? See, you start with a false assumption. You're setting up what's called a straw man argument. What they do with this, the straw man argument.
Kent is trying to say that fish are sensitive to environmental changes as a straw man argument. This is rich, even from this ass clown. Holy fuck.
You build a straw man and you kill him or shoot him or beat him up and say, aha, I won. Well, yeah, you built the straw man. You didn't beat a real man. So he's setting up a straw man that the oceans are fragile and Noah's flood would have disrupted all that. This had the assumption, of course, that the world had giant oceans before the flood. Maybe the world was mostly land. Today it's 71% underwater. Maybe it was only 10% water before the flood. The Bible says.
Hey, Kent. You understand meteorology, climate, and weather enough to understand how much it would fucking suck to live on a planet that was far more land than water? All right? It would kind of suck. It wouldn't be Eden, buddy. Let me tell you, you kind of need a lot of water to keep things in check.
Says in Isaiah 45, God designed it to be inhabited. He created the world to be inhabited. And there might have only been seas instead of oceans. And most of the water was trapped in the crust of the earth and overhead above the atmosphere. You need to watch my video number 2. Okay. So you're ignorant of what the world was like. You're assuming that today is oceans is the same as it's always been. A false assumption. Let's go on here.
Fishes, including the fishes.
Everything dies. I challenge you to show me where that has actually happened.
3 words. And Kent has to keep at it.
The oceans are encountering changes all the time. You should watch what's called the Weather Channel. Mm-hmm. You'll see they have temperature changes. Have you noticed that? Yeah, okay.
Salinity shock from a world.
Yes, and they're all within a nice gradient and a nice spec, generally handled by the volume of moisture in our atmosphere, which would be far less on a world with little danky seas everywhere. It's not a good world to live on, Kent. I've read up on the subject. It happens when you're a fan of Star Wars and you know for a fact that their weird one type of climate per planet makes no sense. But even more so when people go into the details on just how hellish a world like Tatooine actually would be.
Worldwide mega monsoon.
Wait. Salinity shock from a worldwide mega monsoon. What assumptions does he have in this sentence? He's assuming that the flood was catastrophic, monsoons all over the place. No, there's
someone, probably Deviant, since you're good on this, would you be able to share with Laura the Anderson-Kent debates? I think there's 2 main ones. Could be a third, but I know there's 2 main ones.
probably monsoons going on in the world right now. Doesn't affect me over here in Lenox, Alabama. Now, Thomas, this is going to be a little hard to understand. Okay, so the world is really big, and you can have storms in one place and no storm.
Hi, Seth. Hope kiddo has a good time at practice and the like. Thanks for popping in. And yeah, when you listen to this later, you got mentioned earlier, and we'll probably mention you again sometime because we just got to bring up Seth a lot because Seth's my partner in atheistic shenanigans. Hovind.
Storms in another place. Did you know that?
So Seth Lord Yamato. Ha! Got him.
It's possible to have calm some parts of the world while other parts are having storms. I don't know if you knew that or not, so I thought I'd help you out, okay? So no, it was not constant mega monsoons while Noah might have been in the ark for a year in perfectly calm water in some place. Oh, see, people can drown in calm water too, you know. Did you know that? People drowned in, it doesn't have to be stormy to drown. You can drown. I was lifeguard a couple summers and people.
I was lifeguard a couple of summers. Well, I got to question how well you did your job then, considering you couldn't do it well at your own goddamn amusement park for kids. You fucking irresponsible prick.
You know, people can drown in calm water. Not a problem. You can drown in your bathtub. Okay. Yeah. Right.
What was that a threat, Kent? I don't know. Are you trying to threaten me with a good time? Because I ain't having it either way. Ugh.
Just let him talk here. So salinity shock. In other words, you're going to add a bunch of fresh water to the salt water to lower the salinity, or add a bunch of salt water to the fresh water to raise the salinity. That's how salty it is. Really. A mega monsoon.
I could describe how salty Kent is, but we don't have a measurement for that. It goes off the scale.
Thomas, you can't possibly know such a thing like that.
Would nuke marine life. You mix.
So this would nuke marine life. Everything would die. He's setting up a false straw man and then going to say, see, now the Noah flood story can't be true.
40 days of freshwater rain with salty seas. And
wait, what's he assuming here? You mix 40 days of fresh water, the rain, I'm assuming he's talking about, with salty seas. Thomas, you are assuming the ocean was salt water before the flood. Let me go back and explain it to you like I did a couple of days ago. On my seminar part 1, I cover some of the proofs that the Earth cannot be billions of years old. One of them is the salinity in the ocean, salt in the oceans. Oceans today are 3.6% salt. The Dead Sea is like 35% salt, 10
Kent Hovind is 2,000% salt.
times saltier, okay? They could have gone from fresh water at the time of Noah's flood to 3.6% in less than 5,000 years. Suppose, Thomas, the whole world was fresh water at the flood, and the oceans have gradually become saltier. We know that is scientifically accurate. The oceans are getting saltier. Let's see. The sea's missing salt, a dilemma for evolutionists. This was 35 years ago. They did a great paper.
Yeah, at an international conference on creationism. I don't think it's a neutral source there, buddy.
Saying, look, the oceans are gaining salt. If they were billions of years old, they would have a whole lot more salt. But they don't, because they're not billions of years old. Okay? The origin of Earth's oceans. Outgassed water vapor fell as rain. I think that happens. The first permanent oceans formed 4 billion years ago. That is stupid. No. Salinity developed from...
there was a worldwide flood and all the water just magically disappeared? That's stupid.
Dissolved rock elements. I would agree with that. Mineral salts, and there are dozens of them, wash off the ground when it rains into the ocean. Why is the ocean salty? U.S. Geological Survey. Why is the ocean...
Because of a whole lot of 15-foot whale penises. That's why it's salty.
Salty. You may know the oceans cover 70% of the surface. 97% of all water on the earth is saline, means it's got salty. Okay? There's a lot of salty water on our planet. By some estimates, if the salt in the ocean could be removed and spread evenly over the Earth's land surface, it'd be a layer 500 feet thick. High as a 40-story building. Okay, let's see. 2 ions that are present most often in seawater are chlorine and sodium. Sodium chloride, sea salt, okay? These two make up 90% of all dissolved ions in seawater. By the way, The concentration of salt in seawater, salinity, is 35 parts per thousand, or 3.5%. Of the weight of seawater comes from the dissolved salt. A cubic mile of seawater the weight of the salt as sodium chloride would be 120 million tons. There's a lot of salt in the ocean, no question, a whole bunch, a lot of it. See, when it rains, the mineral salts wash off the ground into the oceans. Evaporation takes out only fresh water. The salt stays behind, which means the oceans are getting saltier all the time. This is a well-known phenomenon. You can study it for yourself. Okay. The rain on the land brings salt into the ocean. The rain into the ocean wouldn't do anything as far as adding salt. Okay. Then evaporation takes out only the water. Oceans gain salt due to the release of mineral salts and ions from rainwater, which is slightly acidic due to the dissolution of carbon dioxide in the air.
And some other salty releases, am I right? Right.
Rocks on land are the major source of salt dissolved in seawater. I'm trying to help you, Thomas. Now, hang on.
God, you're such a boring teacher, Kent.
Okay. Hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor. If there's hot water squirting up into the bottom of the ocean, and there is lots of millions of them, where does that water have to be coming from?
The ocean. You talk a lot about tidal pumping. Well, this isn't tidal pumping. It's a different kind of pumping. There's a lot of water dissolved in the crust there, Kent. Lots of undersea caverns, little pathways, that water likes to find any empty place it can go. And it gets heated up and then comes up through those vents. It's pretty well understood.
I'll say down lower than that. See, the Bible says God formed the earth on top of the water. There used to be much more water in the crust of the earth. We get video number 2 or 6. I covered that twice, okay? Why is the ocean salty? National Ocean Service. Salt comes from rocks on land and openings in the seafloor. I agree. No argument out of me. Salt in the seafloor. Rocks.
What kills me is that he's made his point and he just keeps on going. Just keeps on. Everything he says, he does this. Also, wow, we're actually making good time on this. It's only 48 minutes in the stream, and we're at 19 minutes in Hovind.
Rocks on land are the major source of salts dissolved in seawater. The concentration increases over time, plus the hydrothermal vents, adding salt. So if the oceans are gaining salt from down below and from rain above and from washing off the continents, and the salt can't get out of the water, just the water gets out of the ocean, evaporation, the oceans are getting saltier. It's just not complicated. Let's see. Volcanoes occur in the ocean. Well, yeah, not millions of them, millions, but a lot of volcanoes. The Earth's crust is broken, and we get plate tectonics going on. I agree. There's fault lines all over the world. New Maidward Fault, Hayward Fault. Okay, none of them are my fault, but I've studied some. I lived right by the Hayward Fault or the San Andreas Fault when I was in California. Who cares? Okay.
Who cares? Why'd you say it then, dumbass?
There are more than 1 million submarine volcanoes in the world's ocean. 5,000 active underwater volcanoes. Wow. Underwater volcanoes. And they are also spewing out salt into the ocean.
Stacy, did they have Shelby County, Tennessee plates? Because if so, that would track. No one in this fucking county can drive.
There are salt domes that are leaching out. Okay. What is a salt dome? Column of salt that intrude through overlying sediment shafts, units. Okay. How large are salt domes? 1/2 mile to 5 miles across. They mine them to get the salt out. They dig huge tunnels under there, and it's inside a giant pile of salt, a salt dome.
Well, everything is all right. We once again most certainly have a fungus among us. I like fungi.
They mine it for years. Hundreds of salt mines in the world today mining millions of tons of salt every year. Okay, no question. There's a lot of salt in the world. I don't argue with that. Salt glaciers. Salt glaciers. The Zagros Fold Belt in Iran. A salt glacier on the left is flowing south. Each glacier is 4 miles long from head to toe. That's a lot of salt. The average.
He just keeps going. Good Lord.
Ocean salinity, 35 parts per thousand, 3.5%. Okay. There we go. The salinity changes. So yes,
Hey, hang on. Hey, Kent, look at that chart right there. You notice the areas that are that are fur deeper, that are far more red than the other areas at the same latitude. Notice the cool areas shifting some. So, what would happen if there was a whole damn worldwide flood? Is that those temperatures would even out, and while it's only a few degrees difference, that would not be good for marine life. Lots of stuff is really sensitive to that. And if you have that happening across the whole world, well, there you go. Also, your little idea of local seas and stuff really makes it an interesting thought of where would half of this life that has massive migration paths, what would it be doing kept to localized seas? Did they just develop the migration paths after the fact? I mean, come on. None of this adds up, Kent. You always talk about people being desperate. This is desperate, Kent.
a lot of salt. Mhm. The average ocean salinity, 35 parts per thousand, 3.5%. Okay, there we go. The salinity changes. So yes, Thomas, the salinity changes in oceans all the time. If a fish happens to swim near where a river's coming in, it's going to go into fresh water for a minute, and they seem to survive. Billy, can you Google, are there still fish in the ocean? I'm curious now. You got me going. Okay. Okay. They have to restock it every once in a while, the ocean. Yeah, okay. Range from 0% near the mouth to 40% in the Dead Sea. Ooh, lots of salt out there. Dead Sea, Salton Sea, Great Salt Lake. Okay. How much salt is in a river? Mm-hmm. Contrast to ocean water, salinity of rivers is low, about 0.012%. Okay. That means 35.5 quadrillion tons of salt in the ocean. You got million, billion, trillion, quadrillion. Okay. See, the Big Bang, everything began as a single point. You think all that quadrillions, 38 quadrillion tons of salt was in a dot, smaller than a period.
Hey, Kent, you're off topic.
You'd have to be a moron to believe something like that. I'm sorry, guys. That is really, really stupid. Okay. 38 quadrillion tons of salt. That's a crowded dot. Plus all the fat professors. Yeah, they were in there too. Okay. All the rivers run into the sea, and the sea is not full.
I mean, like all the lard ass conservatives you see day in, day out living in the South, people who can barely breathe to walk, who got to be strapped with 14 guns and have more money than, I know what to fucking do with to blow on what the fuck ever. Look like they're eating pretty goddamn well, that's for fucking sure. I don't think they need any more, fucking grills and shit. I think they got enough stuff to cook on and enough food to eat. Pass that shit on to someone else. But no. And you want to talk about people, I'll talk about your kind too, you fucker.
Full. How much salt is added to the ocean? 4 billion tons of dissolved salt enter the ocean annually. 4 billion tons, according to National or Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. Ocean salt comes from rocks on land. Okay, so the oceans gain salt from the rivers bringing it in, the undersea hot springs, undersea volcanoes, salt domes leaching, salt glaciers, and salt seeps. How do the oceans lose salt? How do you get it out of there? For the most part, it isn't. You can't. The salinity is gradually increasing over billions of years. I think they're wrong there, Davis. It will only take 4,500 years to get all the salt we have. How do we?
Source that's not creationist bullshit. Have you crunched the numbers, Kent?
We lose salt. Let's see. You can cause salt water to evaporate. How to remove salt? You cause salt water to evaporate. Guys, that removes the water, not the salt. Is it me, Joseph, or are these guys really dumb? They're trying their hardest. Okay. Evaporation of ocean water and formation of sea ice both increase the salinity of the ocean. I would agree with that. It makes the ocean saltier. These salinity raising factors are counterbalanced by processes that decrease salinity, like the continuous input of fresh water. That doesn't decrease the amount of salt in the ocean, guys. It decreases.
Hey, Kent, you know how there's all those big salt mines and such? Um, you ever think that maybe those are, sedimentary remnants of sea salts, ocean salts, and the like that, deposited? That maybe such depositions and collections of it collecting as stuff tends to sediment, and even stuff like salts will sediment out of water eventually. Maybe that's one of the methodologies by which it, balances out. You ever think about that at all? Huh? I'm just making sure. Ever thought about that? I've seen salt we collect at the bottom of a glass, poured salt in, hot water, let that shit dissolve. Week later, salt layer on the bottom. Horn.
Is the percentage, maybe momentarily. Diluting the salt water with more water does not remove the salt. How much salt is naturally removed from oceans?
Let us all note that he's still on this shit 10 minutes later.
Salt is naturally removed from oceans through a process called evaporation. Sage, you're an idiot.
I think he's been talking longer about salt than Holy Koolaid's whole damn video is.
That removes the water, not the salt. Okay. Salt is naturally removed through a process called evaporation. Get a different job, Sage, okay? Go see if McDonald's is hiring or something, okay? Salt is increased. Okay.
You'd get fired from McDonald's, Kent. I guarantee it.
I believe the flood water was all fresh water, and the oceans have gradually gotten saltier ever since that flood. Many animals have adapted to the change in salinity. If it happens gradually, they can adapt to it. Some species of fish live in both fresh water and salt water. Okay. The dilemma many animals living in saltwater face has been well studied. These animals have adapted many ways of dealing with the bodies having too much salt. Most animals don't like the salt in the ocean. They got to get rid of it somehow. They sweat, they put tears out that are salt. Some pee it out in their urine. It's a problem but see, that's been over 4,300 years. They've gradually adapted to it. Can fish drink salt water?
God, this is pathetic, even for Hovind. He's way out of his league on this. He's just don't have words for it. Ladies and gentlemen, a moment of silence for Hovind's last few brain cells slowly cooking themselves out while he was trying his damnedest to do this, to do these slides, do this PowerPoint presentation, deliver all this, and fail this spectacularly.
And why can't they do it? We can't. They gain of water and salt ions from food. They excrete it through the gills, or they excrete it in their urine. These birds have a salt gland, gets rid of it, drips it out their nostrils, gets rid of the liquid salt with the tears. Okay?
Liquid salt, Kent. Do you mean salt in a water solution? Or are you referring to them actually having molten salt, like some type of futuristic nuclear reactor? Because salt's a liquid only at pretty high temperatures. So what are you trying to say there, buddy? Do birds contain small nuclear reactors powered by freaking, thorium? I mean, that's cool. I didn't know seagulls were fat breeder reactors, but I guess they are. Ladies and gentlemen, Kent Hovind says seagulls are fast breeder nuclear reactors. Film at 11.
So anyway, we can cover this all day. The evolution of salt gland. I'll get back to his complaint is what are they going to get to? This guy.
Quite probably fungus. Quite probably.
Salt tears. Butterflies and bees drink crocodile tears to get salt. Crocodile sand.
I drink Hovind tears that are full of salt. Yes, let me drink your tears, Hovind. Relish in your defeat.
Answer. Let's the butterfly land and look it up. Crocodile tears. Yeah, okay. Let's see. We covered this a couple nights ago, I think.
He puts the shit in a slide and then is just like, okay, what the hell, Kent?
How do animals get salt? All animals need salt. Herbivores have it harder. That's why they gather around a salt lick. We put blocks out, salt blocks up for the animals up on the North 40. Okay. There are freshwater sharks and saltwater sharks. There are freshwater clams and saltwater clams. There's saltwater sharks. Oh, look at that. Freshwater sharks. Wow, who'd have thunk it? Huh? Freshwater shark becoming a saltwater shark by adapting slow salt increase and does not prove sharks are related to ladybugs.
And here he goes going off the rails. Also, I love in this particular chart, you can easily go like whoop and then follow down here and then up and let's go back up here and oh, look, there's the Luca somewhere down there. Also, he just had to add in amoeba because it's not a fucking amoeba. An amoeba is a particular type of single-celled organism. The original ancestors of all life were most certainly not amoebas, you dumbass.
And came from an amoeba. There are freshwater crabs and saltwater crabs. There are saltwater dolphins and freshwater dolphins. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, all he can ever do is cry those crocodile tears when he, was like, I'm just trying to save you guys. Give me money and feel terrible about yourself, Hovind.
Maybe they're related to a common ancestor called a dolphin. I wouldn't question that. There are saltwater clams and freshwater clams.
Humans and chimps have a lot of features in common. Maybe they come from a common ancestor called an ape. Oh no, you won't accept that.
Wow. Saltwater oysters and freshwater oysters. Who'd have thunk it? Saltwater pufferfish, freshwater pufferfish. Holy Koolaid, you need to stop and rethink this. The salt in the ocean is not a problem for Noah's flood. The whole world was freshwater, and animals have gradually adapted, some even diversified to saltwater sharks and freshwater sharks, and they had a common ancestor called a shark. That's not a problem in 4,300 years.
Hey Kent, I don't think there was a word shark in Proto-Aramaic or whatever the hell Adam would have spoke. You're just calling it a shark. You just put names on it. Animals don't care what you call it.
Okay, let me go back to Holy, what's the name? Thomas. Right here. Okay. No, lost it. There. So you're thinking 40 days of freshwater rain mixed with salty sea. See, you're assuming, falsely, that the sea was salty.
I didn't even notice that, Laura. Look, your first core answer by Orlando, who's a cashier at Walmart. Oh, man. Yep. That is amazing. You are right, Fungus. He does his best to avoid showing the rest of Thomas's video. Wonder why? Yeah, seriously.
Before, as the flood, during the flood. Noah didn't have to bring water on board the ark. He's swimming in it, or floating in it. All he had to do is turn a valve and open the moon pool and let the water drain into the water the animals. All fresh water.
God, he's so fucking obsessed with that moon pool.
At the time of the flood. So again, you've made a straw man.
Hovind goes skinny dipping in the moon pool.
Which is stupid. Okay.
And you get a brackish soup, lethal to most fish and marine invertebrates.
I agree. If you had a brackish soup, which is not quite salty enough for the saltwater fish and not a little too salty for the freshwater, today it would be a problem, be lethal. But a friend of mine from up here in Alabama came. He said, "Brother,
I don't care about brackish water, but I do like the song from Kitty. That was a good song. That was a real nice introduction of the world to their to just them, and very indicative of that era and just where we all felt we were at the time."
Hovind, I raised, I forget, I got pictures in my seminar somewhere here. He said, I raised, was it guppies or something, in aquariums.
Spoiler alert, Zoso, Gabe Newell is Noah. He never died.
He said, I wanted to see if they could change to be saltwater. Might not have been guppies, whatever it was. He slowly added salt to his aquarium. After 2 weeks, he figured out how much to add to make it come out to be like ocean water. After 2 weeks of slowly adding salt a little every day, they adapted just fine. Now there were saltwater fish in 2 weeks.
Well, I don't think any element of Hovind is anything we want in our heads, Marty, but you know.
Then when you put them back in the freshwater aquarium, they all died. So a rapid change in salinity can certainly be fatal. You are right. But a slow, gradual change is not a problem for most of them. Okay.
Except it is.
Oh, right here.
Vertebrates. But what about whales? They breathe air, sure, but their kidneys can't filter chaos. Oh,
Their kidneys can't filter chaos. again, I think there are whales doing just fine in the ocean, aren't there? Can somebody Google, are there still whales in the ocean? There are? Okay. I think they do just fine. What's this chaos you're talking about? See, his whole
That's what I've been thinking about this entire time, is coral reefs and just how sensitive they are.
argument is built on a false premise. He doesn't understand what the world was like, just like 2 Peter said. He's a scoffer who's willingly ignorant of what the creation was like. And the
Let's make Valve games, but they're all Kent Hovind. Hovind Life 3. Left for Kent Life 3. Left for Hovind 3. DAL instead of Portal. God, could you imagine trying to escape DAL? Actually, that'd be great for Left 4 Dead. Hell, now I want to make a Dinosaur Adventureland Left 4 Dead map. I don't have the time to learn that software.
flood. It was not salt water, Thomas.
Oh, and what about plants? It's not like most of them can survive underwater.
The world was, Noah was in the ark for a year, Thomas. That does not mean the whole world was covered with water for.
Look at how angry he sounds in this. Have y'all ever noticed that we're always laughing, jovial, having fun, and Kent just gets pissed during all these things? It's not healthy, Kent. Can't be that mad all the time.
For a year. Parts of it might have been only underwater for a short time. I tell you what, go to Louisiana. They have floods there all the time, and they have lots of plants growing in Louisiana. Did you know that? You want to Google that? Are there still plants growing in Louisiana? They can get flooded and water goes down, and actually it helps them. It brings in fresh, minerals in the topsoil that's now deposited. So it actually can help. We get rain here a lot. Do we have any plants on our property? Yeah. I think you are really, really, I'll be kind. I think you're ignorant. Okay? What about plants? They can't survive underwater. They can survive.
Okay, well, I'll meet in the middle. I'll set up a Minecraft server and we'll create DAL Minecraft. How about that? Although, I'm not even joking when I say I really want to propose to some groups I'm in that we start a Minecraft server and actually try to recreate the world of Guild Wars 2, Tyria, in it. That would be insane, though. That would be insane. And yes, a worldwide flood that didn't flood the whole world.
Survive underwater for a short time. We have some parts of our property here. We get a bad rain, it'll stand 2 or 3 inches of standing water for a few days afterwards.
Yes, Kent, we know how water is after a rain. We're all alive, you fucking idiot. We live on Earth, we know what it's like. You don't have to explain it to us, you fuckwit.
And it dries up and the plants still grow there, don't they? Yeah.
The Bible says that God called all of the animals on earth to Noah's boat, but did millions of plant species come hauling ass as well?
You want to get the plants walking onto the ark? Where did you...
He just ignored him saying ass. And Maria here, the Guppy story is a downright lie, a violation of the 9th Amendment. The 9th Amendment to the United States Constitution is a crucial part of the Bill of Rights, addressing the concern that enumerating specific rights in the Constitution could be interpreted as denying or diminishing other rights not explicitly listed. I know it was like an autocorrect typo. 9th Commandment. It's like, no. I was having fun with that because I knew exactly where you were going. Yeah, 9th Commandment. But I thought we might as well see what the 9th Amendment is and see if it's funny. And it kind of is. Oh, I love it when fun things like that happen. Like there was this Savsit watcher that I followed for a time. Some of you who are into that stuff may have known about her, Virgo Triad. Turns out she was running like a scam or something, lying about some stuff. Was always nice to me, but it is what it is. But one day she had read Pro Magnate as pomegranate, and so it became an ongoing joke about dangerous pomegranate bombs. And we just rolled with it. That's how some of the best stuff happens. Actually, honestly, that's partly how the whole tomato thing came about, because Kent called me Caruso Tomato, and it just stuck.
Read that in the Bible. You've been following R and Ra, haven't you?
You've been following R and Ra, haven't you? Shit-eating grin.
Yeah, you can tell when somebody follows an idiot. They do idiot things.
Yes, like all the Hovind people. Last I checked, people following Ra weren't convicted pedos. Weren't, being denied custody of their children and the like. Remember Grantham? By the way, when are Grantham and Jessica coming back? They're supposed to be coming back, right? Right? Huh? Are they coming back yet? Are you doing your call-in tonight? I should call in and ask, have you heard from Grantham and Jessica? Are they coming back? Because, it's supposed to be a few months. I think it's been a few months, Kent. So is Grantham coming back? Huh? And yes, I apologize if that annoyed you, but I do that intentionally to just, make a point.
You want the plants on the ark? Well, there probably were plenty of plants on the ark. The animals were eating them. And then,
And Noah and his family were smoking them.
as they get off the ark and clean the ark out, there would be seeds from these plants. During the time of the flood, they'd be shoveling stuff overboard or down into the moon pools, and the seeds can germinate again. Go any place where there's been a flood, when the water runs down, plants flourish. You're really, really grasping at straw. You know what I think? You don't want to believe that book because it says, thou shalt not commit adultery. Is that the reason you rejected it? Or maybe because it says, thou shalt not steal?
Wow. So he's just immediately accusing the person of, accusing, whomever, but in this case, Holy Koolaid, of being an adulterer, of stealing, of... No, how about it's just because the shit's not true, Kent? And obviously, believing in the Bible doesn't stop people from doing those things. So your point is completely moot. Unlike the point here from Jared of plants are very sensitive to mineral changes. No way they would survive being starved from oxygen and carbon for that long. Saturated soil with salt, idiot Hovind. Perfect.
Steal? Why? I don't know why. But you have rejected the book because of your lust, not because of your science. Only got through a minute, 30 seconds. Okay, and that's already been 40 minutes. Sorry. We're going to go one topic at a time, so you quit gish galloping. Okay, to answer your question, Thomas, no, the plants did not have to walk over to Noah's ark, right? Now, do you believe all the plants in the world and all the animals in the world fit in a dot smaller than an atom?
I knew he was going there. Hovind being Hovind, let's finish this garbage. Oh man, we've still got a bit to go.
Do you believe that, Thomas? Is that what you gave up the Bible to believe that, didn't you?
Kent, people don't choose what they believe. That's something you really have to understand. We don't choose our beliefs. That alone should say plenty about why a person would actually openly acknowledge, hey, this is stupid. I don't believe this. Because they don't. It isn't a conscious choice. If so, I want you to believe that Allah is the true God and Muhammad is the real prophet. Can you believe that, Kent? Can you force yourself to believe that? No? Then there you go. So shut the fuck up about belief. You don't even understand what that actually is. How about you shut up entirely, but, then I'd have to find something else to make fun of, which I could do, but making fun of you is easy.
Strained at a gnat and swallowed an elephant. Okay, we'll take up some more tomorrow. Thomas, you're welcome to call in, defend yourself. 855 Big Dino extension 4. Everybody out there, call Thomas, Holy Koolaid, and say Kent is challenging you to a debate on.
Another good point from Deviant. Yeah, because no one can think for themselves. Everyone has to follow someone. Fucking hate that idea. Hate it. With intense rage. No, yes, maybe. Okay, sure, but this isn't isn't a CPTSD PSA. Yeah, it really is a very stupid idea that nobody can just be an individual or think from their own, or that we can't just take elements that we like from those around us and add them to our own personalities, which is something we always do. A group of friends will always behave similar because we rub off on one another. I'll quote stuff from Ra, from Matt Dillahunty. It isn't that I follow them to that degree. They're not some leaders or anything. They're respected individuals, certainly, and are leaders in a broad sense, but not in the same way that you're a leader, Kent. I have a level of admiration, a level of respect, but I still think for myself. And if they say something I don't agree with, I don't agree with it. That being said, it's less common that that happens than it would be for other people. But there are things I disagree with Aaron Ra and with Matt Dillahunty and with others. And that's absolutely fine because, in the grand scheme, I accept their opinion on these things and don't wish to argue with them on it. It's not that crucial to me. I can see where they're coming from. For the most part, we agree. Your bullshit, however, it does need to be addressed. The disagreements we have aren't trivial. And what you want to happen, I find extremely detrimental to the progress of the nation, let alone the world, of just the United States. We need all the help we can get to survive the bullshit that you and your right-wing cohort fuck buddies have caused. And it's not a very fun fight, but someone's got to fucking do it. I play my role just like everyone else. Maria with just a little bit of community sharing. Those cheap Roma tomatoes cut in slices or quarters, dusted with Italian seasoning, black pepper, and salt. Fantastic in the air fryer. So I've heard. Roma tomatoes are really good for stuff like that. Gish galloping only applies to debates. Just saying, if you're making a video, of course you cover as many topics as possible in that video. Yeah, I mean, he can talk about whatever the hell he wants. This isn't a debate. That's the other thing. Kent thinks everything has to be a debate. He doesn't even know what a debate is. So he's just fucking dumb. Really didn't finish the whole video, probably so his followers don't see it. Yeah, well, he's planning on making this tonight and tomorrow night as well. So, you know, he's just got to have all this content because he's got to take it apart, just like he did, Iron Ron did 45 videos responding to 20 minutes. Good, I'm glad you feel better, Deviant. Yeah, like, for the record, this is a place to vent about things. And so just feel comfortable, with stuff. I mean, it's like it's going to become public, so obviously share with caution. But especially if it's relevant to ideas expressed here or what have you, feel free. That's what my Discord's for. That's what my BBS. That's what my forums are for. That's what the XMPP chat stuff is for, for people to express themselves, to be themselves, for us to be a community. And anyone else who wants to join in this craziness.
One topic at a time. I can answer all of them, I believe. If not, I'll find an answer. But the Bible is true, Thomas. You're going to stand before God one day and be judged by that book. It's not going to be good. All right, any questions or comments tonight?
I don't know. I mean, Holy Koolaid seems like a pretty cool guy. Really decent. I like his personality. I like his demeanor. Demeanor and personality are related, but not the same thing, right? They're technically different. I just want to make sure I'm not being redundant there. Any more redundant than I normally am. Anyway, yeah, he seems like a pretty decent guy. I haven't heard anything wrong about him. So, I don't know. I think he'd be judged better than you, Kent.
Okay. Is ghost real, or what people think are ghosts? Are they demons?
Hate to say, but this kind of shows the intelligence level of the kind of people who follow Kent.
I don't know of a simple answer to that question. The Bible talks about the Holy Ghost, and there were certainly demons in the Bible.
Yes, but what about Space Ghost?
But there's a whole study called demonology. That's not my specialty. I don't have a quick answer to that one. Okay, I think certainly spirits are real, but does that mean we can see them in a little white Casper the Ghost? No, I don't believe that.
What were the lyrics to that song? Whole Celebrity Skin. Oh, make me over. I'm all I want to be. A walking study in demonology. Love those lyrics. It's like a really, really well-written song. And I've kind of got an obsession with that little 3-chord main riff through it.
That part. Can you explain, please, Job 39:26? Well, help you type it out for me. No, I got to look it up, okay?
Oh, Hovind wants everyone to do his work for him. You fucking prick.
Job. Okay. Job 39:26. Doth the hawk fly by thy wisdom and stretch her wings toward the south? Henry Morris Defender Study Bible, which I have worn out several of them. We sell that in our bookstores. Really, actually, he doesn't have a footnote on that. I don't know. This is all, see, Job 38, 39, 40, and 41, all 4 chapters, is God asking Job questions, 84 questions, none of which are ever answered.
Okay, then what's the fucking point?
So doth the hawk fly by the, in other words, God is saying, Job, are you the one who tells the hawk how to fly? I know they've discovered that the hawk, when it folds its wings back just right, has really good aerodynamics, and they've designed some of our fast airplanes after the hawk wing. So I don't know. I don't have a quick answer to that one either. Okay. Let's see. What are your thoughts about flat Earth? It's real stupid. Kansas, part of Texas is flat.
See, Kent, you should really think this is the intelligence of the people you're actually attracting. This guy's probably a flat earther, and now he's going to be like, oh, Hovind doesn't believe in flat earth. He's not a real biblical literist. And the other dude asking about ghosts, and then someone wondering about Job. I mean, at least someone's asking you about the fucking Bible, and maybe you should stay in your lane and just focus on that and stop trying to talk about science. But damn, you're getting real winners here, Kent. Real winners.
The rest of it's round. Okay. To an ant, a beach ball looks flat. Yeah. It's round. Is there anything in the last 40 years of teaching you've changed your mind? Yeah. Oh, yeah, the rapture. I used to think we get out of here before the tribulation.
Always about that rapture. That's the only thing he's ever changed his mind on.
We get out after the tribulation. It's this chart behind me and my video series on that. Whoa, what on earth is about to happen? My book. I very reluctantly had to change and say, look, we're here for the whole tribulation. Okay, you can get that chart, $10 or the.
Yeah, I got to read this one out from Grunwaldi. Kent, Catholics aren't real Christians. Real Christians. Also, Kent, I'm using the timeline of the Bible laid out by a Catholic bishop and talking about demonology, which was a Catholic thing. Hovind. Sounds about right.
Book. Okay, food for thought on the evolution, people. If the Big Bang was real and everything exploded in outward direction, why do comets, pass the Earth in opposite? I think it's.
Well, not only are you completely illiterate, Michael, but you don't begin to understand the first thing about basic cosmology. I recommend you go back to kindergarten. What a fucking idiot.
Talk about comets, not comments. Well, true. There's a lot of things wrong with the Big Bang Theory. We covered that in video number 1. If a spinning object explodes, all the fragments spin the same way. If the initial object wasn't spinning, how did all of them pick up an angular momentum? And the fact that Venus and Uranus and 11 of the moons spin backwards is a real problem for the Big Bang.
No, it's not. It's very well understood. Also, the basic structure of our solar system is fucking irrelevant to the Big Bang.
Plus, the existence of comets coming in from all directions is, I think, a real problem.
Hi, Oort Cloud. It's understood, you dumb fuck.
Happy you're still strong, watching older videos. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. Yep, God's been good. I still feel like I'm 25 most of the time. Okay. Oh, by the way, Big Will gets out of the hospital tomorrow. He's had amazing recovery. His phone.
I was wondering if he was going to bring up Big Will.
Battery is something to plug it in. I got him a new phone today, but it's not working yet. You got to take it. Never mind. I'm gonna go to the hospital tomorrow. Pick him up. Bring him home. Forget. I'm not going to pick him up. I'll let him get in the car by himself. That guy weighs 400 some pounds. I'm not going to pick him up. You want to go pick him up? No, you got to go get the cow. Okay. All right. See you tomorrow. We're going to whack Thomas and Thomas. Everybody call him. Invite him. I don't want to sneak up on anybody. I wish when they were going to say bad things about me, they'd call me to defend myself. They don't do that, do they? Okay. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Kent Hovind won't debate me. He won't debate me. All he has to do is have his goons contact me. I've been saying it for months. Kent Hovind won't debate me.
Yay.
Eat shit, Hovind. Kent doesn't know how to pronounce job correctly. Probably because he's never had one. Good point. Do you have a yob for me? What? A yob? Sorry, I just realized it's kind of mocking us. Oh, Swedish and other accents that'll do the yeah for the J. Or my understanding is such. I don't know. I'm tired. Super chat from our lovely friend Laura. $4.99. Just realized I'm going to super chat in a hot minute. Here's some cat treats. Thanks for laughs. Thank you very, very much. We still got a ways to go before I reach a payout on next month. So over the next week, if I seem to be shilling for a little more money here and there, that's why, because I got to break 100 by the end of the month to get paid. And I'm not there yet, which I'm fine with, but I'd like to be able to get paid because it helps with stuff. So your super chats always go straight towards things that are necessary, and try my damnedest to, get the kitty some treats. The witch hunter general Matthew Hopkins was a Protestant. He used demonology. Witch hunter general? I love that band. But Kent, I called you first before I made any videos about Chris Jones, so you can elaborate more. Good point, Billy. Kent doesn't believe in the Oort cloud since he can't see it. He thinks it isn't real. Exactly. All right. Well, this was a fascinating trip once again into the patheticness of Kent Hovind. It's truly special how amazingly pathetic everything he did here was. Like, Hovind's pretty low tier, but this was something specially bad. And I know this isn't his first rodeo with these kinds of biblical objections. Well, the one involving salt. So yeah, he's just he's losing it. We're watching the end here, folks. Grab popcorn. All right. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. Much love. If you're watching this after the fact and you're still here, you obviously enjoyed it. So, like, subscribe, do all those things. If you wish to financially help, channel memberships, what's that thing? Super thanks. Those do nicely. It's like a super chat, but in comments. Hey, pretty neato. Right. That's the end of that. I'm going to get some dinner, play some Guild Wars, go to sleep, try to survive work tomorrow. And yawn. Now everyone else is going to yawn. Yeah. Good times.